Western democracy has been replaced with a biosecurity state. We reorganized our society around the suppression of a single infectious disease. Freedom of speech, freedom to worship, freedom of association, schools, good education for our kids, all of those priorities were set aside by governments around the world in order to suppress a single virus. And we're still coming to terms with what that's meant.
As officials try to slow the spread of the coronavirus, some states have begun shutting down their entire school systems.
With little information, locking everything down in the short term seemed like the right thing to do.
It was just announced over the intercom to all the kids that we were going to be closed for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, we're closing schools, it's legitimate. We were like, oh my God, yeah, no school.
I just trusted that there was a very good reason to close.
I remember talking to a friend of mine saying, the 2 weeks are up, cases are starting to drop, I guess the kids are going back to school. And he turned to me and said, they're not going back.
We represent teachers and nurses.
The teachers union were very strong advocates of not reopening schools. They were saying that they were worried about their teachers, that they didn't feel it was safe enough.
The union is not an organization that's for children. It's for their members.
There was like times I didn't leave the house. I didn't even go outside for like a whole month.
He didn't go nowhere. He never even stepped out of the house. He didn't go out of the house at one point for 6 months.
Football is a means of getting me into a good college. Not having that, I was worried. I was definitely worried.
What's going on? What are they gonna do? No one's saying anything. Are we gonna play? I'm like, I don't know. Upset, frustrated, confused, anger.
We were hearing from parents that their children just could not stay on the computer, that they were struggling. There were tears.
I don't think people realized how isolated she was.
No! This was not just hard or uncomfortable. It was having a significant impact on the kids and their ability to learn.
Come on, it's time to get on to your next period.
I will.
When?
When you leave me alone.
Come on.
No.
Why not?
Because you're not leaving me alone.
I look at his monitor and I see the Zoom window. I say, why is the camera not on? He says, nobody's camera's on.
Zoom has really become this critical infrastructure for so many kids learning online over the past several months.
And you know, I'd participate sometimes, but what's the point? Camera was off, no one's there. Like, you could be on your phone. Like, I lost completely who I was. I wasn't that person that worked to get straight A's anymore. I didn't care.
Everything was more behind closed doors. Everything would happen inside our home. I really wasn't safe. I didn't have nobody to talk to. It was really just me trying to do as much as I could for my siblings.
Because I had no school, I had no boundaries, and I was using. It wasn't healthy, and by using a lot of stuff, I was getting used. That's been a really, really big thing for me. That's changed my life.
You cannot treat kids like prisoners and expect them to be okay.
Lord, we give you thanks for Kevin's life.
Whether that means kids are going without food or depressed or isolated, as long as we are keeping them protected from COVID, then that's all we have to consider.
How did these decisions get made? What went wrong? What dynamics were in place that led to these decisions?
I represent science.
The American public got the impression that there was a consensus that schools should be closed, that businesses should be, and that simply wasn't the truth.
Big tech suppressed our ability to discuss concerns about these policies.
We know that the federal government coerced tech companies and pressured them to suppress it so that the American public wouldn't hear about it.
We've done irreparable damage to a whole generation of children and students.
The memories that we have lost, the experiences that we have lost, the skills that we have lost. And now we have to regain that and go out into the world.
Mommy not here, nobody here. You got you. Right, there we go. Go.
Schools provide shelter, food, counseling, safety, education, and an opportunity for the brightest future possible. That is what our public schools represent. And that is fundamental.
Schools are not optional, they are a fundamental birthright.
This is something that my generation will not forget. This is also something that my generation will not forgive.